The first thing that you need to do if you want to play is to get familiar with the keyboard so you can find your way around easily. You need to learn the piano keys. So this video is a beginner's lesson on how to find every note on the piano. Let's do it. This channel is your guide through developing all the different skills and knowledge you need to become a piano player with a bit of freedom. So make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell so you don't miss out on anything that you need to learn. This video is going to cover all the key points you need to know, summarising how to name every note on the piano. Understanding this properly gives you a much stronger foundation from which to learn other stuff. And when you can do it quickly and fluently, it makes it much easier to learn more advanced things like chords and scales and memorise songs and things like that, because you always need to find note names first. It can really slow down your progress when you're a beginner if you don't put a bit of time into it. So for example, if you're learning a song, you might keep pausing every time you need to change hand position or find the starting point for a new bit, and it can get really frustrating really quickly. But if you get it down solidly, it can make your life much easier. I've also done some separate videos on the white keys and the black keys, which do go a little bit more in depth on each, tell you how to practice them, some extra learning tips and tricks. Plus there's some practice play-along videos to get you naming them faster, and I've got some worksheets for each linked down in the description. I did those videos separately because I think it's often good to focus on one thing at a time, but I know that some people might want to do it all together in a slightly quicker way, and then this video works as a good recap of everything too. If you want something slightly slower and more in depth, then watch those videos that I've linked in the description on the white notes and the black notes separately. When teaching the name of the piano notes for beginners, I think it's always best to start with the layout of the keyboard. The piano has 12 different keys. Starting on this one here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then this one here would be a higher version of the one we started on. So we have multiple higher and lower versions of those 12 notes, like this. On a full-size 88 key piano, there's one extra note at the top and 3 extra notes at the bottom. There's nothing different about this, it's just like the pattern's been cut off early. If your keyboard or piano is a different size though, it might be cut off somewhere else. There's 7 white, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 5 black. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you look at the whole piano, we've got that same pattern repeating. The block of 2 black notes and then the block of 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, and those same 7 white notes repeating. Again, they are higher and lower versions of the same note. Something really important to understand early on is that there's nothing really different about the black notes. There's a bit of a misconception that there is. These are just the keys or the buttons for the notes, and they happen to be a different colour and laid out in a different way so we can reach them and play them more easily. They're also labelled differently, but when you're actually playing music, they're all just as important as each other. It makes the most sense to start with the white keys first. In music, we use 7 letters, A to G, 1 for each of the 7 white notes. It's useful to start on this note first. This note is a C, and you can find that by going to the left of the block of 2 black notes. Any of the block of 2 black notes, the white note that's on the left of them. It makes sense to start on C instead of A for a few reasons. 1, because it's easier and clearer to find first. 2, because middle C, which is the C that's most in the middle of your piano, is a marker that musicians use to know how high or low they're playing something. And also because C is the start of the scale that everybody tends to learn first, which is the best one to learn first, called the C major scale. And if you don't know what a scale is yet, it doesn't matter as you're doing this lesson, so don't worry about that for the moment. So we start at C, and then we go through the alphabet from left to right, all the way up to the letter G, and then because that's the last letter we use, that's when we start again at A. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So we're aiming to eventually recognise each of those white notes by where it sits amongst the black notes, and each one looks different, but it's the same up and down the piano for each note. So all the A's look like that, all the D's look like that, and so on. For how to practice that until you can do it quickly and fluently, so when you look at a note you just know the name of it straight away as easily as you could read a letter on a page, click on my white notes video or download the worksheet, which are both linked in the description. The black keys can have two different names, something flat or something sharp, and these are the symbols. At this stage, you want to just learn how to name them either way and not when to use which name. It doesn't matter just yet, and it wouldn't really make too much sense unless you have some other knowledge anyway. When naming the notes, the word flat means go down by one semitone or half step, and sharp means go up one semitone or half step. We say semitone in the UK, but a lot of other places like the US say half step, and it means exactly the same thing. And it means a note that is right next door to another note on the piano. So for example, if I take this note and go up a half step, I'm on this one, keep going up in half steps, or come down in half steps. It kind of looks from the buttons, remember these are the buttons to play the notes, it kind of looks like they make this shape that my finger's making, up and down like that. But if you look at this part of the piano, it's important to think of these notes as being in a straight line. If you've ever seen the inside of a real piano, you can literally see all the notes in a straight line. Some semitones are going to be white to black, some will be black to white, and there's a couple where there's two whites as well. But they're all right next door to each other. If we go one semitone or half step above the note C and play this one, we can call it C sharp because it's one half step above C. This one's D sharp because it's a half step above D. And then F sharp, G sharp, A sharp. So if we want to do that the other way, starting on the same note, it's a half step below D. So we can call it D flat. So this is D flat, and then this is below E, so it's E flat, G flat, A flat, and B flat. Just so you know, there are some exceptions where each note name can be called something else. For example, if you flatten C and you get this note, I just told you that was a B. There are some circumstances where you would call it a C flat, and then you can have things such as double flats and double sharps. But at the moment, focus on those basics. You won't need those other things for a while. And when you do need them, just learn to add that new thing on when you get to it. So that's how it all works together. If that's your first time hearing any of that, then it might be worth checking out the white key and the black key separate videos, because they also teach you how to practice it really well. And there's also a worksheet for that, which has got the practice tips in, you can download in the description. Or you can check out the play along practice videos where you have to keep up with some backing tracks to get you naming the notes faster. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you found this helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.